and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. Today is Tuesday, September 4th, 2018. I'm Jim Fuller.
And I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, the Tullahoma Wildcats pulled off a huge upset win last Friday night in Lewisburg. We'll meet the new superintendent of Tullahoma City Schools, and Tom Robinson will update us on the city's business air park. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
It's football time in Tennessee, and nobody tackles the competition like the Russell Barnett Automotive family. With 6 different locations, 8 new car franchises, over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, a certified collision center with lifetime paint guarantee, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental. Let our family exceed your expectations at the Russell Barnett Automotive family. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the two of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
Don't stop believing, Tullahoma. Faithfully, Tullahoma Parks and Rec is excited to announce Journey Resurrection, a Journey tribute band that will perform free to the public Friday, September 21st from Fraser McEwen Park at 7 p.m. The wheel in the sky will keep on turning, so bring your chairs and blankets. Cold drinks and food will be on hand, and you can have it any way you want it. We'll see you there, rain or shine. Resurrection, a Journey tribute band in Tullahoma, presented by Michelob Ultra, Light 2, and 93.9 The Duck. Visit tullahomatn.gov for more info.
Welcome back. The Tullahoma Wildcats shocked Marshall County Friday night in Lewisburg as they defeated the preseason favorites to win the district championship by a score of 14-13. John Gray spoke with Tullahoma head coach John Olive on Saturday morning.
I'm John Gray, and I'm here with Coach Olive after a wonderful trip to Marshall County, Coach, and come back with a W. That is exciting.
That was exciting. It was a hard-fought game. And it's one that Marshall County was not going to give that victory up very easily.
No, sir.
And our young men just got to a point where we talked about it all week long, that you got to just take it from them. At some point in time, if you want that win, you got to take it from them. And, you know, both teams played really hard. I'm sure we both feel like we can play a little better than we did. But I don't think either one of us can fault our young men for how hard they fought. It was a very physical football game. We're a very beat-up football team right now.
Very physical.
And I think that they're probably in the same situation this morning.
Oh, I know they are. Because, you know, the same football team that were number 4 for Shelbyville ran wild all night long, number 3 from Marshall County got his bell rung a bunch of times.
Right. Both 3 and 5, the quarterback were averaging over 100 yards a game, rushing, and they'll get some yards against us. You'll see that. Yeah. But it's a long time coming for this senior class. A lot of them were playing, not a lot, but 4 or 5 were playing when we took an absolute beating from them 3 years ago.
Right.
Double that number were playing when they were sophomores, and we took an absolute beating at their place in 2015. And then last year we stood toe-to-toe with them, but everybody's wondering, was it because they just were overlooking you guys or whatnot? And I know that, and it may not make any rhyme or reason to most people, but we talked about in 2015, we came back from that game, and even those sophomores that had played on Friday night, we turned around and played them again on Monday night in a JV game against Marshall County. And we beat them. Very close game. But we found a way to win that JV game, and they were minus, though, a special sophomore named Wallace.
Yep.
And so you're sitting there trying to put that one into your calculations and so forth. And then last year we felt like we were just a play away from having won that ball game instead of lost it. And so we talked about that you've been toe-to-toe with these guys before, and they're a big, physical-looking...
Same guys.
Same guys.
2 or 3 years later.
That's correct. And there's a transfer or two that's in there, and there's a transfer that has left. As Wallace left Marshall County this year to go back to Giles County and play with his older brother there, back at coaching at Giles. And so, all that being said, that's what we talked about all week, and we really felt like that if we could match them physically, then it would come down to which team could execute the best to win a football game.
Right.
And we did last night. I'm super proud of our young men. I cannot say enough good things about our defensive staff, the improvement that our defensive side of the ball has made this year, as I think that we really do, and it's exciting to be able to have a football team that can win by playing defense. That gives you a chance. That gives you a chance every week. And
after these messages, we'll be right back.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck.
Keith Barnett here at the Russell Barnett Automotive family, and we have sold so many new trucks. We've got over 100 pre-owned trucks to choose from. Any make, any size, any model. It's as easy as going to russellbarnett.com to check out our pre-owned truck inventory. And remember, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck, man.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
I'm Marley Matlin for the American Red Cross. In an emergency, infants and children can't always tell you what's wrong. Being able to read critical signs and knowing how to respond can make all the difference. The Red Cross offers infant and child CPR training, where you can learn how to recognize and respond to respiratory and cardiac emergencies. Visit www.redcross.org or call 1-800-HELP-NOW. Together, we can save a life.
Welcome back. Tullahoma's new Director of City Schools, Dr. John Carver, spoke recently about his background in education and the path that led him to be the city school director.
You're all aware that the school board's only employee is the Director of Schools. Fortunately, the Tullahoma Board has not had to hire an employee in over 22 years. The members of this board take their responsibility very seriously. We entered into an agreement months ago with Wayne Qualls to assist in this search. He's a past teacher, coach, principal, director of schools, state commissioner of education under the administration of the governor of Florida. Mr. Qualls communicated with over 40 candidates from an area as wide as Colorado to Florida. And after extensive research and following input from our community, he presented the board with 3 finalists who we felt were the best match. The board 3 weeks ago interviewed privately, one-on-one, each candidate over a 3-day period. We ranked each finalist and turned our rankings into Mr. Qualls and tabulated the results, Mr. John Carver receiving by far the highest score. He is originally from Iowa, where he's been a teacher, coach, principal, director of schools in 2 systems in Northeast Iowa. In an attempt to escape the Iowa winters and to move closer to one of his children, he has worked for the last year in Murray County. This board has not voted. We set a special call meeting for September the 5th at 5:30 for the purpose of considering whether to extend the contract with Mr. Carver. He's here today to discuss his vision for our system and to seek your input and vision addressing the short. I have been anxious for the past months as I have tried to discern which path is best for our system. A system that has been great for many years, especially the last 22. And the system that I believe under Mr. Carver's leadership can become even greater.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a blessing and an honor to be with you today. This is, I think, my 5th talk that I've given today. I've been in both middle schools, the high school, and now with you all. So, very excited to be here, and I want to thank the board for consideration for becoming the next director of schools for here in Tullahoma. So thank you for that. As you may mention, ladies and gentlemen, this is my wife, Pam Carver. And hey, Pam. And she and I, in August, we celebrated our 38th wedding anniversary, and we have been a couple for 39 years. And during part of my career, I was a football coach and AD and all that. And so she's a coach's woman, which means that she always has my back. And when people in the stands would criticize the coach, she was right there to defend my mom. We've been following Tullahoma for about 7 years. And the innovations and the things happening. And about 8 years ago, Dr. Lawson and I became Twitter friends. We followed each other on Twitter. And as was mentioned, our daughter went to Belmont. And so about 7 years ago, we were down visiting our daughter, and I reached out to Dan, and he graciously invited us to come down to Tullahoma because he wanted to show us all the cool things happening. So 7 years ago, we were at the district office, and he took us around, showed us all the buildings, and was gracious enough to take us to Miss Mary Bowles for lunch and stuff. And, you know, for us to be coming back here and to begin, you know, having consideration about being the next director of schools, I mean, we truly believe it's God. And that we gave our lives up to God a long time ago. He moves the pieces around, and we just kind of go with it. So it's exciting to be here, but on one level, it's like no accident that we are. So, yeah. Pat mentioned about getting out of the winters. The last district I served as superintendent, the Howard Winneshiek School District, was in northeast Iowa. It was the second largest landmass school district in the state of Iowa, 480 square miles, and every day our buses traveled 1,800 miles to bring kids to school. And the last part of my job as superintendent, for the gentleman in the room, it was really a lot of fun. I had to get up at 4 o'clock and check the roads to make sure they were safe to drive. So when the school issued four-wheel drive, I had to, make sure the drifts weren't too high and all that. But the last winter we had 42 inches of snow, and we had multiple days of minus 20. And so we had an opportunity to come to Tennessee. Pam loved it down here when she would come visit our daughter. And so we landed in Murray County, and now we have an opportunity to come over here, so we're very thankful for that.
We'll be right back with more News Leader on 6.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. Tom Corrington recently interviewed Tom Robinson, Executive Director of the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation. In this segment, Robinson talks about the Tullahoma Business Air Park and what it means to the city of Tullahoma.
We're talking today, folks, with Tom Robinson, who is the Executive Director of the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation, TAEDC for short. And so let's get up to date. You have had some our business air park, which we have, I forgot, 150 acres around
120.
120.
Actually, about 106. But
what do we have out there now, Tom? And have you got something else that's on the
we've got
horizon?
A company called XP Services, and they test components. New components for aircraft and helicopters. And they go all over the world in different aircraft. Maybe they're wanting to add a new type of stabilizer or rudder or something. I don't know specifically what they're working on right now. Some of their work is rather guarded because they're doing it for governmental contracts.
Defense, yeah.
But they've got two 10,000 square foot hangars. Their plans are eventually to add 2 others, or maybe as many as 4 others as they grow. They're doing very well. And then down.
Now they're in the park, or are they on the airport?
They're on the air park, but they have a pad that comes right off the taxiway, the Northwest Taxiway. So you fly in and taxi right into their hangar.
Okay.
And so got that. Then about 350 yards closer to North Jackson in the park is another hangar, and it's Sarasota Avionics. And again, XP Services does some work with them. They actually have a business arrangement. But Sarasota Avionics puts the latest planes. Like everything else, they get old, but they do their avionics, all the gauges and that kind of thing need to be upgraded.
Electronic work.
And just like in a car you have a Garmin, well, they have a GPS new system that they can retrofit into an existing aircraft. Corporate aircraft particularly, they'll fly in, they'll do this work, maybe stay the night. Takes some planes longer than others, but usually no more than a day, day and a half. And then they fly out again, and they're upgraded, and I guess they do like you do your avionics, your car, Garmin, put in where you want to go and it'll tell you. And I think some of these even guide you around thunderstorms, things like that. And then another thing, our park is really doing well. We've got a new hangar that's being built right next to Sarasota Avionics. There won't be any work in that, but it's going to allow the airport, Tullahoma Airport, to bring in some more corporate jets. That's a big thing for fuel cells, and they'll be able to park, depending on the size, but 4 or 5 corporate jets in there. And you want to fly your jet, call them, and they'll pull that plane out, make sure it's gassed and ready to go. So it's kind of a neat thing for us.
Yeah.
It means our airport, which is already the 5th busiest general aviation airport in the state, it will be even more so, and we'll sell a lot more avgas or gasoline fuel.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing with fuel.
That's a big revenue source for the airport.
Yes, yeah. And it allows us to have the airport without coming out of the general budget of the city to maintain it. It pays for itself. So that's a good thing.
More news later is coming up in a moment.
100 vehicles under $15,000 at 5 locations, both Tullahoma and Winchester. Keith Barnett here at the Russell Barnett Automotive Family, and new car sales have been so great. We have a huge selection of pre-owned inventory. Do you have a trade? Maximum trade allowance going on right now. 100 vehicles under $15,000, maximum trade-in allowance. Best website in the business at russellbarnett.com. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's got to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor, too, when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails. Welcome back. The Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Aldermen hosted a reception for the recently elected county officials last week at City Hall. Let's watch and listen to comments from some of those attending.
Ms. Robertson is on a different election cycle than most everyone else, and I'm not sure exactly why. I heard the reason a few minutes ago, but I'm not sure I understand why. But I want to make sure that you were invited as well.
And I appreciate that very much. I am the property assessor of Coffee County, which includes Tullahoma and Manchester. Through a massive county-wide reappraisal. Most everybody got your notices if you're in the county and cities. We just completed that. We are in charge of doing property ownership, changing ownership, doing all the valuations, the new construction, all the pickups, anything in the county. We do all the mapping, any parcels, any new subdivisions that come along. We do all of that. We work with all the business, with the business personal property. If you need to find out who owns a property and have an address, you call us and we look it up and we tell you who the new owner is. We work with the Register of Deeds and the trustees office closely, with Teresa's office as well, and I appreciate you having us. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay, we have several county commissioners here. I know at least maybe one had to leave a few minutes ago, but let me ask all the county commissioners one at a time to step to the podium, and some of you are new and some of you are old-timers. Mr. Duncan.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Jackie Duncan. I am honored to serve Tullahoma and Coffee County in a dual role. I'm county commissioner and Tullahoma City Alderman, and I'm just thankful that everyone has enough confidence in me to think that accept me in those two roles. I looked at the mayor's invitation that he sent out, and it looked like after I read it, it's where the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and all the names were inviting all the other newly elected officers. I thought, well, I'm inviting myself to this meeting this afternoon. So, and I felt really good, just to be able to serve, and I am indeed honored to serve with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation, Mayor. I'm Todd Crockett, District 3 County Commissioner. Just got reelected. First 4 years went very fast. Good learning experience, and I'm looking forward to working with the rest of you for another 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for inviting me. I'm Tim Stubblefield. I represent the 16th District, and I'm serving my second term, 4-year term, and I appreciate the people of Coffee County and appreciate the citizens of the 16th District for electing me. And I'd like to, when I first ran, I talked two other people from running, Mr. Dwight Miller and my father, Tilden Stubblefield. And fortunately, they got elected. So if they would stand, I'd like to introduce them. Dwight Miller, 15th District.
Dwight, step up here at the podium, Mr. Stubblefield. Introduce yourself.
They're a big talker, so I didn't think they would come up here, so I was kind of wondering. Tilden Stubblefield. So I know he probably wouldn't come up here, so that's the reason I'm introducing him. 17th District.
He's not bashful, I know.
So he probably owes me one for talking him into running. So, would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Mayor Curley, for inviting us. It is true. Tim did talk me into it. It only took him 2 years. And never thought I'd want to do anything like that, but I decided somebody needed to, so I'd offer my services, and I guess the people decided that they'd give me a try, so I appreciate it. Try to do the best. I'm District 15.
Mr. Mayor, I'm honored you had me here tonight. I hope I can serve the county to the best of my ability, and I appreciate everything everybody's done for me. Thank you.
And don't forget to tune into this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Michelle Matthews from the Coffee County 4-H office, who will stop by and remind everyone that 4-H is gearing up for the new school year. Artist Michael Bush has a new show in town, and we'll speak to him about it. Jamie Harden has an 80s-themed Ultimate Oldies show coming to Manchester. All that and more on this week's Living.
And stay with us. We'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
I have 30 seconds to tell you about RussellBarnett.com. We're going to find over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get your trade appraised, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get financing done, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get collision repair assistance, RussellBarnett.com. We're going to get auto rental assistance, RussellBarnett.com. We are the one-stop shop, one click away. Why click anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her, and now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home, our family caring for your family since 1932.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1954 at 101 degrees. The record low was in 1952 at 50 degrees. The average high on this day is 86 and the average low is 63. Partly cloudy weather expected tonight with a low of around 70. 30% chance of rain in the forecast for Wednesday with a high of 90 and a low of 71. That chance of rain drops to 20% on Thursday with a high expected of 91 and a low of 72. And that's our newsletter report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. You have a good evening.
Have a great evening.